the community leaders, the educational leaders, and the police departments that we work with, fire departments, medical, so that they all are aware of the growth opportunities that we have taken, and how many people can really kind of join in on participation in those growth opportunities. So we just want to make sure that we're constantly keeping Sounds of Autism's growth and development top of mind for our the individuals that are leading, but also because we grow so quickly. And we just did an update meeting, I think in June, and we're only a month and a half. And if you guys see the stuff that we've added to what we've already done, you're going to be like, are you serious? Like, this is happening so quickly. So that said, before I get the recording started, let's go ahead and hi, Jacqueline, have Jackie go ahead and introduce yourself. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to get us up and running here.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Anila. Nice to see you again. Hi, Amanda. See you there. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
So, real quick. So, I'm in Buckeye. So, I've been following Sounds of Autism for years now. For a couple of years now, I would say like 4 years. This opportunity came up, so I'm aboard, thank God. Because I do love what you guys are doing. I love to be part of this. This is a great team, and it's more like a family. Really appreciate everything. And so in my side, so still working on getting moms and dads to support other families. So for the ambassador team, so I can move. So idea is to have someone from Buckeye so I can move to Avondale and so on. Looking forward to speak at the high school, which I don't have a date yet, but for Union High School, for the TSW, I'm going to be talking about the Sound of Autism, how they can help the community. And again, this is kids with disabilities and autism too, so they're going to get involved, which is amazing. So I'm going to be doing that. So once I do that school, so I will move to other ones. Everybody bear with me. I have a full-time job. So I'm trying to do things when I'm off and in between work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just love what you guys do. I have my daughter who has CP, cerebral palsy. She has some developmental delays. She has not been diagnosed with autism. Trying to get her to diagnose because she does have she has some symptoms or whatever. Sorry, trying to think so many things. But yeah, and I'm here for the long run. So if you guys need anything, please send me an email. If I haven't reached out to you, I'm sorry. It's just working.
That's okay, Jackie. We get it. We understand, and we're grateful for you. Thank you so much for what you do for Sounds of Autism. And Cricket, I had already started recording. I don't know if you saw my my chat box, but if you want to start over again, and then I can always trim it in the beginning. That's not a problem.
Oh yeah, no worries. No. That's good. Good. Thank you guys. And thank you guys all for attending. We have a lot of people that are going back to school. So right now, a lot of the people that we invited to come and attend could not make it. But I just want you to know that we are very patient people when it comes to your commitment and your time. If you have things to do, your family's first. You're obviously, that includes your job. And we're just here when you're available to help support us. I can tell you that over the last 11 years, even the last 2 or 3 years, we have grown so quickly that even with people doing this on their time where they're like, taking a break at work to do this, we are moving. So I couldn't even imagine if you could all donate your time full time. I don't think we could keep up, to be honest with you. It's better that we're doing it this way, to be honest with you, because we're moving so fast. So that said, thank you guys for everything you're doing. And I'm going to start this so we can get it going. If I'm going too fast, just raise your hand. And then when I'm done, we'll go ahead and repeat, some of the things that you might have questions about. So here we go. Sounds of Autism Annual Update 2022. We have 4 programs. And when I say 4 programs, we have 4 phases, but each phase has 4 programs and 16 programs together. So 4 phases, 4 programs under each phase. We also have a hybrid collaborative partner that we'll be talking about with us joining us in phase 2. And we are actually meeting with and still deciding, but we're very close to having a phase 4 solution for independent living that does not entail me doing all the work as far as figuring it out, which I love. So that said, I can focus on phase 1 and phase 3, and that will be supporting all of you doing the work you're doing. So I love it because it gives me the time to work with you. Under the Sounds of Autism umbrella, all of this will be there, including phase 4. If this community partner that's looking at our program and potentially wants to joins us, he will fall under, his nonprofit will fall under our umbrella, and they will work as a Sounds of Autism hybrid collaborative partnership. Okay, and that's very important because this is how we're going to grow so fast. Okay, so that said, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is, for the last few years, has been self-funded. We're starting to see funding come in, and now that it's coming in, we can start looking at subcontracting people to be paid for what they're doing. So we're looking at that. We're not there yet, but we're working towards that. Our board of directors is Kevin Cruddy, my husband. He is the president. His sister-in-law, Dr. Angela Cruddy, who is a vice superintendent for the school district, supports the education piece. My husband supports the responder piece. Alexis Barrientos, she does the community outreach piece, and she's in the medical field. And then myself, who is a non-voter, unless, it's something that we all agree on, great. But if not, and there's kind of a, division between all the votes, then the 3 of them make the decision. And I am a non-voting person because, eventually we'll be paid, right? And when that happens, we want to make sure that I don't have a conflict of interest, which I'm fine with. Our board of director leadership for our collaborative partnership is Bobby Joe Bell, who's the president and the country music artist over 30 years. Lisa Wood, his vice president, and does all of his business planning and business development. And then he has board of directors, Jennifer Morris, who is an accountant. She owns her own accounting firm. Chris Hess, who does all the choreography for the line dance. Rich Henshaw, he owns a music store in the East Valley, but he's also a drummer and used to be a former band director and educator. And AJ Clark, or Albert J. Clark, who is actually working with us as well as Bobby Joe Bell Band doing promotion, but he's also working with me on marketing and media strategies and helping us develop our social media so that we're hitting thousands of people. Our advisory board of directors, Bernadette Smith, Brendan Nelson, and Angela Rossetti, is fall under the community support side of things. And then our grants, fundraising, and sponsorship, it's Steve, Amanda, and Diette. Diette is not here tonight, but she is also a wife of an officer. Advisory board of directors for SOA Goodyear Police Department, Sergeant Sean Tyler and his SRO team. Avondale Police Department, Olivia Contreras and her SRO team. Fire Department, Chris Knitzer, I always say it wrong. He is going to be doing our fire department leadership and crisis intervention solutions. And then we have a private investigator that we have added. He does human trafficking. He's a private investigator. His name's Trent Steele, and he's with Anti-Predator Project out of Miami. And he's actually meeting with me on Saturday or Sunday to determine whether or not he wants his nonprofit organization to go under the umbrella of Sounds of Autism to help support training and development in the state, along with a national campaign and potentially an international campaign. Litchfield School District, Gina DeCoste, Melissa McComb, Leslie Willis, and Andrea Trim. They are also all with Litchfield School District, but Andrea and Leslie are actually with the school that will be piloting our hybrid program for the kids in the special needs classes, working with law enforcement and working peer-to-peer with other students. We have Julie Kent, Veterans and Military Affairs. We have Sinaida, who's on the Luke Air Force Military Base. She's a liaison between the military base and the civilian populations. Jackie, Rebecca, and Jessica are all family ambassadors, which are brand new to the program, but they will all be working with me on family ambassador programs, getting the information into the hands of the families as well as the communities that they live in. We have an executive advisory board of directors in California, and we would like to welcome Chad Ratliff. He has his team already selected. He has a podcast supporting the autism population. He will be starting in August alongside James in Canada to start piloting the next phases of the virtual program that we offer. And then we have James Townend, the Canadian liaison between, the United States and Canada. He is a board of directors support Mike, and he's working on a few other things. We won't announce that yet because we're not sure exactly what the team will look like. But there is a lady, Sarah, that works with Autism Calgary, who shows interest, and we just have to kind of revisit that. Dr. Khan, Pakistan, and Samson, who I'll be doing a podcast with, is in Africa. So he's going to be supporting our Africa movement. We have 16 programs, as I mentioned, 4 phases, and phase 1, it focuses on survival. What does that mean? Bernadette and Brenda work together to support college students in multiple universities and colleges throughout the state of Arizona. They teach them simulations of what a parent would go through, what a community would go through, and how to support as a unified front. These students sign up, it's part of their class grade, and it's also part of their credits. So they work with us, some stay with us, some drop out because they're leaving the class, or some drop out because they just didn't understand the objective of what they were trying to accomplish. And I told Bernadette, I said, this is the time that we're really going to define who would stay and support their child the correct way and who probably will need people like us ourselves to draw the map for them. So this is a great way of learning that and figuring out, what percentage of people would walk away from the responsibility that they have in front of them because of fear. We work on support solutions. So right now we're working with a for-profit mental health facility along with Banner Health. And we are trying to put together a diagram of what it's going to be to support all at-risk populations from 0 to, the end of life with these collaborative partners and partnerships. And we're hoping that Banner Health will be able to help us create some of these solutions that aren't out there right now. As far as like, where do we transport kids from this age to this age that nothing, is there to provide them with. We have life skill training. This will be a peer-to-peer solution in the schools. So when bullying occurs or when, kids are having suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, we've paired them up with people that can help support them on a day-to-day basis. And then we have our Responders Unite program, which focuses on police, fire, and medical, especially during crisis. And that is being, supported by many different law enforcement agencies, but specifically Goodyear and Avondale at this time. And I share that with you because survival. So we're talking about prenatal till the end of life. We're giving them solutions. We're showing boots on the ground. We're showing people how to create this system within their community to be successful and bridge gaps. And we're teaching empowerment. So a lot of these cities are taking what we're teaching them and they're creating their own programs. That's our goal. That's what we want. So tomorrow, Landon and his best friend Alex get to attend a support group that Goodyear Police Department put together to teach these kids canine instruction, different crisis intervention scenarios and things like that. So they took it a whole different step further than what we had anticipated. And through that relationship, we also just inherited an Autism Academy K through 12 that has 250 enrolled autistic children in the city of Goodyear. So we'll be working with them. It should just say the West Valley. So we're going to be working with them on crisis intervention solutions, support peer solutions, and community outreach solutions. Phase 1 is survival. Phase 2 is compassion and empathy. And that's where our music and our performing arts and our social media and our media partners, all those people come together. That is all going to be ran by the Bobby Joe Bell Band, performing arts. AJ will be supporting that. He writes all kinds of different plays. He does stuff with social media and media. He'll be doing white carpet interviews. He'll be doing podcasts. We're going to be launching a magazine cover that will be called the Spectrum Talks and Tips magazine. And AJ will be designing this, and anybody we interview starting August will be on the front cover of that magazine, and we'll be using that to highlight. It'll also become the award that we present to them when we bring, different people into, different settings that we have to recognize their performance. There'll be a bunch of cool things. So you're going to see all this as we, unveil it over the next few months. But it's going to be super exciting. And then those people will also be on our podcast. So we'll be sharing the award that we're presenting to them. And these are things they can hang on their wall, and we'll sign it. And, it'll be a part of their world for the rest of their lives as long as they want it. And then we have phase 3, which is workforce development, which is something I've been working with on at piloting for the last year and a half with Alex and Landon. And this summer, they were actually invited to the Dysart Middle School to work with my sister and their team of custodians to learn how to do that job. And they were actually requested to come back, and on Friday this week, they're going to honor and give them both an award for doing such a great job with that program. And they have been invited back as many times as they would like to come because they did such a great job. They were very impressed with the skills that they have. And that wasn't the case a year and a half ago. So what's exciting to me is they're growing and they're allowing me to teach them, which is exciting because that's really what I want to do for a long, long time. And then the last thing is our independent living solution. So I met somebody in Pennsylvania who actually reached out through the Bobby Joe Bell song and asked to meet with us because he came up with a solution that is identical to the one that we already had in our vision. And he would like to bring a team in and help us get the development off and running, which is exciting to me because they have the resources that we don't have to be able to do this. So, there's a lot of opportunities with this. And I know, Chris, this is something we can revisit, but this is definitely something that would be out of our hands, but they would also be interested in joining under our umbrella so that we enhance our program. And all of these community partners that we have found doing these successful things are really under there doing the survival trainings, with our private investigator, doing the compassion and empathy with our music. The workforce development is something that we really want to own. We want to prepare these kids with the curriculum necessary to be successful with this. And then the independent living solutions would be held by somebody else, but we support this and we consult. We get to have our voice in their program, which is super exciting to me. And we can create affordable solutions and long-term successful solutions for that. So that said, our mission is going to change. This year, we are going to announce that our mission is going to be to integrate families and children of autism, including others at risk. So others at risk is severe mental illness, PTSD, individuals that might be going through dementia or having just domestic violence issues. All of these people really utilize a lot of the resources that we already use with the autism population. So which is exciting to me is we're meeting these individuals through all these different programs that we're creating, and they're jumping on board to help support what we're doing. Just like Jackie, she's been following us for years. She's like, I'm excited to be a part of this. And I'm thinking, girl, you have no idea. You're going to be joining us when we're at like our heightened abilities. But what's exciting is she still wants to be here and be a part of it. She wants to bring a voice to her community. That's what we're trying to create here. And once we get off and running with Arizona, which I feel we're in the momentum of doing that, we now take and duplicate this in other countries and other, states, and we could be all over the world by this same business model. And have these people that are supporting us all over in Miami and Pennsylvania, all over the world. They're helping us, right? Dr. Khan, she's in Pakistan. Are you kidding me? James, you're in Canada. I mean, who knew that this would be the way that we did this? But guys, look at how fast we're growing, right? So we're going to all work together as a unified front to serve all at-risk populations, including autism, right? Back into society through love and support. So we just added that little piece, including others at risk, and in phase one step, one city, 1 acre at a time, and ACRE stands for At Risk or Autism Community Responders and Educators, right? Our goal is before we launch our program with the ACRE community, we must set the stage to begin unifying individual cities. This is where Bernadette comes in. She does the first initial meet and greet with the leaders of those cities, the mayors, city council, resource centers, educational leaders, and Steve jumps on and he does all the police departments alongside myself. A unified responder community is the result we strive for through our mission. Our teams know personally that it takes a unified community to raise a child living with autism, including other at risk, especially when we strive for our children to have a typical independent adult life. Steve, if I knew this program was being introduced at the age that your son is at, I would be excited because I knew that we were working towards a solution. When I was going through this, there was no solution. That's why we're doing what we do today. Let's get unified. Phase one step, 1 city, 1 acre at a time. Our ACRE at-risk families, community leaders, responders, educational leaders, we continue building educational curriculum and we continue building, social media posts and all this thing. Everything is just awareness through education, through communication, right? We can sit at home and do all of this, right? So this can be done virtually. And what's exciting to me is COVID taught us that. So to me, I know that virtually we can make an impact. That's how I spent 3 hours with the Google guy. Everybody was behind closed doors. He gave me 3 hours of his time and told me how to keep our search engine optimizations going and all these things that don't even make sense to me, but a Google person makes very sense, much sense too. He's willing to help and support us, and he works with Harvard and Yale. Are you kidding me? How do you find those people? Well, COVID allowed us those opportunities. So even though COVID wasn't a great thing for any of us, it was a positive thing as far as giving us the opportunity to see the journey in a different light. So right now we already have our college program up and running, but what we're going to be introducing, as Dr. Khan mentioned, is support groups on Sundays, training sessions with digital podcasts, all kinds of podcasts. I have backdrops like the one you guys see me with right now. I have probably 35 backdrops, even more, of different people we'll be talking to help us build these, programs and educational curriculum. We take all of these podcasts, we put them on YouTube, and now anybody in the world can view these for free. It's a digital library supporting families from prenatal till the end of life, being conducted by Sounds of Autism as the host and a guest speaker that is empowered or a specialist in their field, and they can change the language to any language they need to be able to understand what we're saying. So now we've become an international opportunity for people. Africa has no resources. They need help. This is a great platform for them. The educational podcast will be prenatal till the end of life, as I said, and it'll be conducted by all kinds of different people. So one of the things that I decided was with our law enforcement training, one of our past podcasters taught me, don't just go with the people in Arizona, look for people globally, as Dr. Khan is doing. Find people out there that are specialists, put together a curriculum alongside those people. So firefighters, Chris, we can go on LinkedIn and look for all these firefighters that have this ability to teach us and educate us about something they're doing that's working. And we put together a curriculum with them. And guess what? Sounds of Autism hosts it alongside our director of fire, which is Chris Kneitzer, or however you say your last name. And together, we all work together to present this to those in our community, thinking outside the box, giving them new solutions, reinventing the wheel, because the wheel needs to be reinvented, because what we're doing here right now is not working. The end result is failing. So we need to change that. And I believe we can with everything we're doing. We also have a family ambassador team. That's where Jackie comes in. She's finding families. And as we get out in the community this year and bring all this compassion and empathy to the community, we're going to be inviting people. Join us. We have an ambassador team. We need people out there spreading the word, helping us. This is a movement. This is no longer an initiative. This is a movement that we are doing to change the narrative and the culture that we're in. Our community leaders, we have the boots on the ground, vetted and safe resource list. Great, we're working on those and we have some solutions coming. But again, educational curriculum, virtual and mobile presentations, quarterly update meetings, monthly update meetings, weekly outreach with our band, anything we can do to bring awareness. That's where community comes in, because they will support if they know what they're supposed to support, if they know how to support. We just have to teach people. How do we do that? Open your mouth and educate. That's what we need to do. And we've been doing such an amazing job that more and more people are telling, and now we're getting people from all over the world reaching out to say, I want to be a part of this. Great. Responders. We have our Responders Unite program. We launch it August with Litchfield School District, Mabel Paget. Officers have already gone in the classrooms. These kids are ready. We've created programs that I'll share with you on a later date where we have orientations digitally done so that they have PowerPoints and they can hear it and read it and learn what they need to do. So officers all over the world don't need cricket training them. All of our stuff is trained through digital program. And then we put it on YouTube and we just share it privately with them so that it's not, being utilized by others or people aren't stealing our ideas, right? Monthly ambassador classes, coming together and working with the officers, with the school districts to bring awareness to crisis intervention and solutions like bullying and coping methods and, setting boundaries so that our kids stay safe on online gaming components, and talking about stranger danger right before they go on summer break so that these kids are aware of how to protect themselves. Teaching our community about if these kids elope from their house or leave their house, watch the water canals, watch the places where they can drown, because that's where they're going to head towards, right? And we just recently had 2 officers on their radios tell people, hey, that kid just eloped, he has autism, go by the canal, somebody patrol the canal until we find this kid. And I'm like, that was a simple little comment that we made, and these officers actually responded to it. Those are the kind of things we're going to do. We're going to take these types of tips and put them in the briefing sessions. They can watch a 5-second briefing and we can give them a ton of information in that 5 seconds for them to walk away and remember when you're on patrol out in the middle of the midnight and these kids are getting out of the house, how to respond to that, or in fire, how to respond to that, or in medical, how to respond to that, instead of them having to be told, okay, you got to go to a training class and you got to take a day off so you can go train. Forget about it. Let's put this inside their world on a day-to-day basis and keep it top of the mind and make it silly simple where they can't say the reason we're not doing it is because we don't have money or time. No more. We took that away. With that whole hurdle is taken away now, the way we're doing stuff. We have the Explore program we're working on. We're going to be reintroducing ourselves to all the police departments, letting them know we're going to be working with the Explorers. Avondale is working with us on creating that Explore program for police and adding some competitiveness in there, offering some scholarships through the Sounds of Autism program to present for these Explore programs to get shirts and t-shirts and outings for their people, because they don't get a budget for that type of stuff. And then the responder training, doing quarterly presentations, having Sean Tyler, our sergeant with Goodyear PD, coming on and doing a podcast to talk about how this program is helping our community. And the same thing with Chris, our educators, introducing classroom ambassadors, but then we're going to be meeting with one of the leaders of the student council to see if she will jump on to do peer-to-peer safety and support solutions. So as we're teaching these kids about bullying, coping, boundaries, stranger danger, life skills, job skills, and safety skills, as we move forward with all of these programs, these students learn the curriculum through the digital program that we have, and then they're in there peer-to-peer with these students, walking them to class every day, making sure that they get to where they need to go, that nobody's bullying them, that they understand coping, they understand boundaries. Like if they have a touchy-feely and, those students can say peer-to-peer, listen, you can't touch people, you're going to get in trouble for that. And they're there to guide, right? And these student council, National Honor Society key clubs, the Kiwanis Club key clubs, all of these students are the leaders. We're just giving them better leadership skills. We're building compassion and empathy. We're teaching them how to work with the at-risk population way at kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all the way to, adult life. Family support presentations, again, offering that to the families as we're getting into these school districts and letting them know you're not alone, and we're going to be working with solutions to share with your educators, your community, your responders, everybody. And then your educational leadership presentations and solutions. So being able to go in and teach the teachers what we're doing, how we're doing it, using educational links for them to see those things. Again, something they can view or listen to on their way home. Let's Get Unified Phase 2. We do this one step, one city, one song at a time. So this is where our song and our music and our performing arts come in. This is our timeline. We have August 2nd, we'll be introducing the hybrid collaboration between Raise Your Hands Inc., Bobby Joe Bell Band, and the line dance song that he created at the West Valley Women's 17th anniversary program. If you're interested in attending this, let us know and we'll get you a ticket so you can go and watch the introduction. It starts at 11. It finishes at like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And this West Valley women are actually celebrating their 17th year anniversary. So it's a big deal that day for Lisa. And we're going to, kick it off or kick that year off with her with a band performance at the Broadway Theater in Peoria. August 20th, we've been invited to Kurt and Brenda Warner's Treasure House. This is something they created for their son who lived in Missouri because they didn't have anything here in Arizona. They created this home. It's an elaborate home for kids with at-risk issues that need assistance when they're living. And they have, I think, 27 or 28 kids under their umbrella right now, and they're looking to expand their program. For some people, it's very affordable. For some people, it's not. So this is one of the many housing solutions that we have, but they love what we're doing and they want us to come in and start educating them on how to incorporate life and job skills in their program. And so we've been invited to this. We've been invited to Celebrity Game Night where they're going to have celebrities there watching and listening. Bobby Joe Bell will be opening for Blake Shelton. So this is all a really big deal for Sounds of Autism because we're getting our name in front of people that really have the power to influence. It may go nowhere and we're fine with that, but this one opportunity gives us the opportunity, that spotlight for just one night. And that's all we need. Listen, we're not going to be Kurt and Brenda Warner ever, I believe, in this world, but being able to have their support is a really big deal to us. And then the Celebrity Game Night is on October 6th as well. November 6th, we have Making Noise for Autism Walk. We're going to be doing a walk, a song, and a dance. Bobby Joe Bell will be there. From what I understand, Marcus Boyd, a 14 Grammy-winning celebrity, will be there with us. He's the largest advocate globally for the autism population, and he's autistic. He wrote some really cool beats, and a lot of our rappers use these beats. But Marcus has a clothing line. He has a podcast. He worked with Dr. Khan. He's just really well known globally, and we're going to bring him in. And right now, our grants team are looking for the sponsors and the sponsorship. I believe Blue Cross Blue Shield is one of our big sponsors. Blue Sprig is one of our big sponsors. We have some big people coming in, but we still need people. So if you know people that are interested, they want to be vendors or sponsors for this, please let us know. We want to create a mini petting zoo. We have the Shetland ponies. I would like to get the pig farm out there and a couple different opportunities so that the kids have something to look forward to, as well as food trucks and things like that. So any feedback on this, please let us know. We have our Mesa Country Music Festival, November 12th. This will be held at the Chicago Cubs Stadium, and Bobby Joe Bell will be the main performer that night. There'll be a bunch of bands opening for him. I will get you more information about tickets and things like that. We'll probably have another update meeting before this, but he will be sharing the story with Sounds of Autism and everything that we're doing. This will be one of the largest country music festivals in the Phoenix area, and these promoters are totally behind us. Between November 24th and December 6th, we're working with Target to try to come up with a toy drive opportunity. And if we can do this toy drive, those toys will be used to hand out to low-income families as we're going through the parade route in December. We'll be part of the December 10th Glendale Hometown Parade. We'll have a float. Bobby Joe Bell will be performing. The kickoff for the state record. We'll be throwing out footballs. We'll have 50 volunteers walking with us to hand out candy toys, footballs, brochures. So if you're interested in participating and you want your kids to participate, we did it last year. It was a lot of fun. And then we'll have 3 floats in the parade as well. January through February, we're working with our states, and our state and our city, and the cities like Surprise just met with us today. They're very interested in creating some type of activity or event that Bobby Joe Bell can come out and talk about this state record so that we can start inviting people. Channel 7 News just announced that they will be adopting us and helping us come up with all kinds of different PSAs. And Sanderson Ford will be working with us on supporting the sponsorship for that. So that will all be paid for. We are going to be on the TV right before the Kurt Warner kickoff for the Celebrity Games. We'll be meeting with Channel 7 to talk about our program, to talk about the line dance. So there's a lot of media coming our way. And then we'll have AJ doing a lot of interviews throughout the, the different people that we work with, mayor, city council, AZ Big Media. One of their editors is going to be on talking to him, endorsing Sounds of Autism. She's worked with us for 11 years. She'll be the first person on the front cover of our magazine that we'll be introducing. Let's Get Unified Phase 3 is one step, one city, one job at a time. So this is our workforce development program. And with this, this is our STOP project. I have a video that we created for our grants for the sons, and Amanda helped me make it even better. And so I'm going to be able to share that, I think, on the next slide. But Team Wolf Rafter is the team that Landon and Alex designed. This is their logo. They designed that for me, and Alex drew it, and then I took it and made it into a graphic design. They have shirts that they wear. On the back, it says Stop Project, Simple Task Operations Project, and the logo is a stop sign. So if they're out in the community and people are driving through, hopefully they'll stop when they see the backs of their shirts, and they'll slow down for this population as they're working in the community. And on the front, it'll be Team Wolf Raptor, or whatever team it is. We usually have 4 individuals on one team, and then we have 26 hybrid animals right now to choose from. So the next team will choose a different name and they'll have a different logo, but the stop sign will be on the back of their shirts as well. And this will be our long-term program where we'll be going into Sun City or going to the Veterans Cemetery or the, Habitat for Humanity or St. Mary's Food Bank, and we'll be volunteering to support those in our community that are less fortunate, to teach socialization, collaboration, job skills, life skills. It's a great way to teach all of those things and give back to the community. And we work with the Phoenix Blue crew, Tommy Thompson, who's a retired Phoenix officer, and the Target volunteer team, which they have over 1,800 employees that want to volunteer to help support us. So Target will be behind us. The distribution center will be behind us anytime we need help. Let's get to work. This is the STOP project. So Simple Task Operations Project presented by Sounds of Autism. So this is what the back looks like of their shirts, and then the front is the Wolf Raptor. Landon graduated. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. Landon shared with me that he was interested in the next steps, which were going to college, buying a home one day, driving. So we started the STOP project, and it's Simple Task Operations Project. It's a job or workforce development project, and it is the last stages of a child learning life and job skills to sustaining a job and learning now how to work towards independent living solutions. If you have a child sitting at home that's an adult, 18 or over, and they're looking for a solution, whether it's a camp in the summer, after school programs, or morning programs. Everything's done virtually, and they can practice the skills like mom and dad are at work, and now you know that they're doing something constructive and working towards their future. Thank you. So this gives you an idea of why this is so important to me personally, but just, watching Alex and Landon and everything that they have accomplished is just, it's the most exciting thing to me. I just feel like if I can be that hands-on person, once we get all this other stuff kind of doing its own thing, it'll give me the satisfaction of knowing that these kids are going to be in a good place when we're no longer here. Bernadette, if I can ask real quick, I have somebody in the waiting room, if you don't mind adding them. I believe Rebecca Wood is in the waiting room if she's not already on. So thank you. Really to Sun City, the 55 and over community. they were allowing us to have Landon and Alex come in and practice their skills by, cleaning some of the homes in the Sun City community. They built relationships with the adults there, and it was really cool because some of these adults, they sit there and that's all they do all day is watch TV, and they don't have any collaboration with anybody. So their companionship and the relationship that these people have with Landon and Alex, have really been beneficial. And as you know, as all of us know, with COVID, sitting at home and being behind locked doors for long periods of time is very mentally straining. And to be able to offer this opportunity to these families that, don't have family members to come visit them, we can help support that. Arizona Traditions, same thing. My mom's community, they've done some stuff over there with my mom, and introducing some of these programs to some of those people there as well. The Dysart School District, Phoenix Police Blue Crew, we did St. Mary's Food Bank. Landon actually was asked to do the end of the St. Mary's Food Bank where they have to load up and stack all the boxes. It's a very physical job, and he did it, and they were just blown away that he did such a good job. So, and he never complained once. He stayed up with it for 2 hours, and when he got home, he stimmed and he took a nap. But he did such a good job, and we know that pushing these kids to the fullest potential are really going to end in a positive way. Exciting programs coming. We have the pilot for our virtual life skills, job skills, and safety skills. This is something that I'm working on Saturdays. I will be hosting a short pilot for some of these adults, probably up to 10 kids. I call them kids, but adults, anybody 16 and over that would like to join us to learn job and life skills and safety skills. It'll be a 32 an hour. We just have to decide how long is good. And we'll focus a little bit on each of those categories to give them things to work on throughout the week until we meet again. And it'll be tell, show, do, review, and then we'll have the parents kind of collaborate with us to let them know why we're doing what we're doing. We're going to see if this works, and if it works, this will be our way of introducing life, job, safety skills, crisis intervention skills through digital curriculum and picture language. So these are things that we're creating, and I've already created a few of them, and we're piloting them now to see if it has value. And then phase 4, which is coming soon, will be one step, one city, one survival team at a time. So these survival teams will all be kids or like-minded individuals that would live together in one home, and they would support one another in these life and job skills as a team. They never do anything without being a team. And we say that because we want to make sure they stay safe and they support one another with medications being taken, or cooking, or if there's a crisis, how they all work together to overcome that. This is something that I learned just by watching Landon and Alex when they had to become a survival team overnight and practice their skills for 6 months. And I was, away. And when I came home, I couldn't believe the independent level that they got to. It was amazing. Strategic plan is to become a unified responder community. That's when we all work together and bridge all the gaps. That's what all these puzzle pieces that are stitched together mean, is they're not together right now. We need to stitch them. That's our job, is to add those stitches and pull them all together. And sometimes that's just asking, and sometimes that's begging, and sometimes that's all of the above. Phase 1 again is our survival support phase, supporting our acre community, compassion and empathy, workforce development, independent living. If we just focused on training officers or training teachers or training our community or training our families, it would be a lopsided training, because all the things that we need to support that training are not aware of what their role is. That's why we've opted to do this acre community. Everybody's learning at the same time. Everybody has a role. And if they don't want to take on that role, that's their choice. But then we just ask, well, just don't include yourself. If you're not going to help, don't include yourself, because it gets confusing if our students are reaching out to you asking for help and you're not interested in doing that. But we're not excluding anybody. We're just allowing people to make the decision if they want to participate. And to be honest with you, we've had very few that don't. Everybody seems to be very positive about it. So thank you for attending our annual Board of Director Advisory Board of Director Update meeting. Learning about Sounds of Autism's programs offers our Board of Directors and Advisory Board of Directors, our families, and our community an opportunity to understand the vision of the Sounds of Autism journey and how we can support our ACRE populations when in need of service, especially during crisis. We never want to leave anyone at risk or alone. Please feel free to pass this information along to learn about Sounds of Autism and the collaboration and hybrid partnership that we have with Raise Your Hands Inc. Learn about our website, our YouTube, our social media, start watching for AJ and all of the posts that he's creating. We'll have some people working on TikTok, Twitter, WhatsApp, Alignable, every social media site that we have available to us. Those will all be things that we will be working towards. And as I told the mayor in Surprise, Arizona, we are not ever going to go away. The only time we would go away is if Sounds of Autism, dissolved. Other than that, we will be building educational curriculum and support solutions that will be executed, whether it's digitally, mobile, virtual, or just relationship building through emails. And every one of us will work towards offering those solutions, bringing in somebody like our investigator or Chris or our community partner with the housing. Any of those people make it available for us to be able to share our program, but also come up with solutions that are outside the box thinking and bring other ways of doing things that are working in other areas of the world or, in other states or in other portions of the states. Because you have to remember, tribal lands and rural areas or areas where they don't have any types of resources or understanding how to serve this population, all of these tools have a certain value to those people. So there's never something that we do that is wrong or right if we're giving them information. It's just really, staying compassionate and empathetic towards this population. So that's all I have as far as the presentation. And Rebecca, I know you just got on, and I'm so sorry. I know it's so difficult with this, Teams that Steve always shares with me. This Teams platform is so hard, but it's okay about your camera. And it's no big deal. We'll send you guys the recording of this so you can review it and listen again. But I do want you to know that, there's a lot of people that weren't able to attend tonight. That's no big deal, Bernadette. So if you want to stop the recording, I just want to ask if there's any questions or concerns about anything we talked about. And if not, then we're done, because I did hold you over 11 minutes. I apologize.
Okay, and I know that Dr. Khan has a question, so I will let her ask her question and then I will stop the recording, or do you want me to stop that now?
No, go ahead, leave it on. Yes, please.
Okay, great. Dr. Khan, go ahead with your question.
Oh,
we can't
you're
hear
on
you.
mute. Yeah.
Can't hear you yet.
Fine, now you can listen to me. It's more like questions and my concern. First, I would like to say, whenever you are planning these things, for example, these trainings, please consider the gender difference over here, because we all know that girls are different on disabilities, specifically autism. Maybe you all might don't know that I have this, I'm high function. People don't even get this idea, but you're always worried about a lot of things. So please consider the factor that we have to create a different resource for girls. We have to keep this in our mind. Second thing is that I want to include sexual education over here. Please, please, please. Sexual education means include puberty. Plus, we have, because this population is so vulnerable toward abuse, and I'm dealing nowadays these cases, and it hurts me a lot. I mean, you cannot talk this to the parent directly, and it hurt you a lot. So we have to do something about that. We have to create for girls, for boys, both different resources for that thing. And other thing I would like to say that, as you all know, that we both belongs to different cultures. You're from different culture, I'm from different culture. So the thing is that it's not even about the culture, it's about the area and the resources we have. So when we are planning these things, we have to take this consideration that we have to do something indigenous over there. For example, like in start, I told you that we cannot, a lot of things I cannot imply over here because we don't have these resources, we don't have these reach out. But I have this thing keep bugging me, because you already know me, Cricket, that I got this mind who is all the time thinking, because when you got a big brain and you put everything over there and you're thinking about the profession and you're so passionate about that, so I keep on thinking about that, think what we are going to do, so that I came up about a different idea. So these are my three concerns: sexual education, gender difference, and regional resources. We have to think about that. So I think you would include that, or you would like to comment on that. So that was all from my side. So
I love
thank you
that.
so
And
much.
I think I have a really good resource for that. Her name is Dr. Khan, and she will be helping me with all of these things that you're suggesting.
I can do that. You know that. I can do that.
And I want to add to that too, because I love that you're mentioning that, Dr. Khan, because Cricket and I have actually been asked by Special Olympics of Arizona to help
Okay.
them with the piloting a program when it comes to healthy relationships.
Yes,
So,
that's
and another thing that we do as the Director of Community Corporate Outreach, one of the things that I do is when I do vet a resource, I ask them what other areas, what other states, where are they located at? And I let them know that we're international. So I am definitely making sure to keep that in mind when I
yeah,
talk to these different service providers.
yes,
And
We are
and
keeping
and
you in mind.
Rebecca, I was going to say, and Rebecca, who's on here, she's Article 9, and she works with an adult that has autism. That's a girl, Sam. And I know Rebecca can help us with those suggestions as well, and maybe even Sam can participate as well. So I think we have a lot of resources to create this. But I agree with you.
Let me tell you one thing,
Yeah.
because they are not able to tell you, but they are very, because how I, maybe I'm sorry if I'm taking your time, but I would like to share the case over here. I was working with a girl. She was so cute. The point was that I think I just mentioned this case earlier, but I would like to mention over here because we are talking about this thing. And she just went off because of some reason. Her grandmother was ill. Her mother left her when she was a child. So I saw difference in her behavior. She was doing something strange. I mean, like I told you already, that I don't allow any therapist in my place to, hug a child for long. First thing is that. Second thing is that I don't allow therapists to take the child in their lap. It's not allowed. I don't allow them. And I fight for them, and I fight hard for the institution before I was working, that please, please, please look into this consideration. Don't allow anyone to take this child, and don't allow children to kiss all the time, because we have some allergy. Because I have this background, I'm from psychology, I'm a therapist, then I became a speech therapist. So I have a lot of things in my mind. Because don't think about that they are not individual. Beside autism, they have personality. Beside autism, they have development. So we have to consider these things. So we have some erogenous zone which can create different kind of feelings in the person. So I start feeling different about that girl. She would try to come to me. She would like want to sit in my lap, and she would want to jump in my lap, and she would want to rub my thighs. I mean, she was just just something like rubbing thing. And the parent family was not even able to understand. She was said that like she's just doing strange things. She's just taking off her shirt while she's doing that and stuff like that. And they just told us later on. Later on, when I make a lot of noise over there where I was working, at that time I was assistant over there. Not even assistant, I was a trainee over there. I said something is wrong, we have to work on that, and they were not listening to me. I said no, something is wrong, we have to work on that. I see difference in that girl. I am very much suspectable about the girl I am working. I am too much involved in these children, and I know when something is wrong. So they after some time I did testing on her. She was and on HFD, if somebody has psychology background, the sign and symptoms start coming. So I said that something is very wrong over here. And one day I did not let touch her, and she had meltdown. I did not let her come to me, and she had meltdown, and that was crazy meltdown. And she started crying for so hard that the neighborhood heard her cry. That was that loud. Then I talked to my my seniors that we have to do something. Then we just find some way to do a thing about that. And they said that her father hit her so many times because she take off her shirt, and she start on pointy things, she start rubbing her body over there. So I know that it feel, or we cannot listen to these things, but that was happening with that girl. So it's also happened with the boy also. So the point over here is that they cannot tell you. That is the point. It's not even about legal thing. How are you going to know that a child is going to under something?
Well, in Landon,
That's
when
the
he
point.
was going through that, Dr. Khan, he would call me at gym class because he was hiding in the bathroom, because he's like, if I go to gym class and the girls are around me, I'm going to make a bad decision. I'm going to end up in jail. So when those things are happening, we need to discuss that way before 15 and 16 years old. We need to start teaching them their boundaries, what they can touch, what they can't touch, what's good touch, what's bad touch, all of those things. So I think this is a very good, subject matter. And I think that we have, like I said, we have a lot of people that can help us work on this, because we just had an adult, 27 years old. He took a picture of his privates and sent it to one of his old teachers in high school. She called the police. She was like, I'm not going to allow that. And the mom was beside herself. She's like, I would have never thought he would have done that. And so those are things that are happening, and sex trafficking, luring, all those things. So that's why we're bringing these bigger, larger presenters in that have the experience, that are willing to share this information to help support our families as we move forward. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Thank you for listening.
Are you doing podcasts of like redirecting behavior and stuff like that into positive? Yeah, we worked on a lot of that with the horse therapy, because we did have that. And it is, you're right, Dr. Khan, very different from boys and girls in how it manifests itself. But yeah, having those resources for how to redirect some of that behavior, I think for parents is extremely beneficial.
And we're working. Go ahead, Bernadette.
I was just going to say real quick, it's not just redirecting, Dr. Khan. It's brilliant that you recognized and identified that there was something, because not everybody can identify that. And it's being able to notice those differences. So that's wonderful.
And I don't think we're going to be able to fix everything, especially if we don't have our acre community and awareness. But when our officers, for example, went into the classroom last year, the nonverbal kids were punching the officers to get their attention. Now, if these kids were older, that would have been assault, right? And so we're teaching them, these officers, like, look, this is why they're doing it. It's not to be like assaulting you. It's because they have to explain something to you and they can't get their words out to be able to do that. So the officers came up with solutions for the kid, saying, if you need something, use this, to show me a picture and I'll know what you want. And that's how you use it. But if you don't do it the right way, I'm not addressing you. So those are things that, I know Chris is writing notes, because he probably, or he's typing notes, because this is how he does this. He's a firefighter. He understands crisis intervention, and he understands the need for this and why this is important, because we have kids that were incarcerated. We have kids, and it was not intentional. It's because they didn't know, and nobody knew how to break through that type of stuff. Landon and Alex came to me the other day because they watched a Disney show, and at the end of the Disney show, two girls kissed each other, and that bothered both of them. And they came upstairs and they said, we don't want to judge people, but this is not okay with us. And so we had to share, that whole thing. And I said, I can't believe that, they were that comfortable to have that conversation with me, because normally they don't, right? So if we can break through those opportunities for them to feel like they can share anything with us, and we're not going to make a big deal, like Bernadette, she was told something and she didn't go, oh my God, she just listened and responded like a responder does, right? Where they keep their stress out of the equation and they just listen. And when we do those things, we open doors for people to communicate effectively and honestly. And I always remind them, you're not going to be in trouble for sharing anything honestly. You're going to be in trouble when you don't share honestly and you get caught. That's when you're in trouble. So you have to be honest. Even if you made a mistake, we'll try to figure it out, like Joshua taking a picture of himself. They called the police department. They turned him in. They said, we need training. They put all that together, and the police department said, never do it again. Take his technology away, because he should not have it. He doesn't know how to use it correctly, or you block it, or whatever it may be. So, there's solutions, but we have to address that with these families sometimes, because sometimes they just get caught up in doing their everyday routine, not realizing there's things going on. The other night, Landon started exhibiting some mental health stuff, and I knew he was having a bad day. His facial features changed. He started licking his lips over and over again. And these things happen once in a while. So I sat down with him and I started talking. Well, my husband didn't realize that he was in crisis. So he's just watching TV, doing his thing, and he's listening to us collaborate. And then he realizes Landon's in crisis. So he turned, clicks, the mute button, and we all sat down and we talked for about an hour. And at the end, we said, how do you feel? And he said, I feel so much better talking about it. So just those conversations have to happen. These parents miss those things sometimes, not intentionally. I think a lot of it is just, it's overwhelming with trying to keep up with everything every day. And so that said, again, it's 7:23. I know I kept you guys longer, but I felt like this was very important. Is there anybody else that has any questions before we go? It's we have 7 minutes, and then I promise we're going to be done. Any questions or any comments that anybody wants to make before we hang up here?
If I can just go ahead, Bernadette. You raised your hand first. You got me. Go ahead.
You go, Chris. You go,
You
Chris.
sure?
Yeah, because I can always
Yeah.
talk to Cricket after. Go.
Okay, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate seeing the familiar faces and meeting some of you for the first time. Let's try to tie 2 points together really briefly here. James in Canada, it's a pleasure meeting you, and it just, I can appreciate your walk to some extent, although I'm not officially diagnosed myself as an adult. I don't know. Cricket may have done that over the phone for me. But in all seriousness, I see us as, otherwise, productive and seemingly well-adjusted middle-aged men as being bridges and conduits for the general population to see that there's not just to Dr. Kahn's point. These are people beyond autism. These are people beyond just living with their limitations of the spectrum wherever we lie. And we happen, again, being undiagnosed myself, but following my own rabbit holes, it sounds like we're both on a very high functioning end, but we're both onto something that, friends and family oftentimes can't believe. And it's hard for them to wrap their heads around. Like, what do you mean you're considering this, or you've been diagnosed this, or you're looking into this? We don't. You seem to have all these other areas in your life together. Like, how can this be? Well, this is how I'm a person. Also, I'm a person first. Here's all the things I can do. Just this doesn't always readily present the way it does for someone else on a different part of the spectrum. But thank you guys. I appreciate all of your input tonight and meeting you guys. So that's just my 2 cents and my observation. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, and just to back on what Dr. Kahn said, like, I know you're talking about more severe, I guess, issues when it comes to appropriate behavior, but for me, being, as I hate to use the term high functioning, but biggest issues I have are interpersonal relationships because I don't understand certain things. I don't do all the things like you've mentioned. I know better than to expose all this other sort of stuff. But when I think building on just relationship stuff, because that's the biggest part for me, and I'm working on it with my therapist, is to be able to make genuine connection. I have a high level of cognitive empathy, but I don't have the apathetic empathy where I can really connect with people. I appear to, because I'm so many years of masking, and Chris is nodding, I understand people, I understand behavior, but I think developing a program in that aspect would help, people on the spectrum not to feel so alone. I watch certain shows and there's this, as Chris said, there's a stereotype of what, media likes to make. Okay, autism looks like this, I watched the Love on the Spectrum and said, that's not how it is for me. It's like, no, I don't have any physical signs of being on the spectrum. And that's how a lot of times on TV or in the media, they portray people on the spectrum. So as Chris said, when I say it to people, they're like, you have friends, you can talk, but when, I think that's something, the messaging, and then Dr. Kahn's point about the sexual and behavioral thing, that's something that I think, is oftentimes, I guess, ignored in people like you and me, Chris, because we appear it. So it's like, oh, they don't need as much help because they're higher functioning. So I would like to get rid of the higher versus lower and just different functioning or different levels, because in some cases, yes, I'm high functioning. In other cases, I have a high IQ but a low EQ, things like that. So it's something that, it's
Yeah.
different functioning. It's not high versus low or anything else. I
Yeah.
just
Correct. I think we have an opportunity just to be just a bridge and a conduit between the two, really. And it's funny, a fireman I work with, he's a father of autism. His 4-year-old son has been diagnosed from 2 years now. He's diagnosed at 2, but he calls it TISM. He said he stopped me before I even started my spiel. Said, "Hey, Knitzer, cricket, it's Knitzer, by the way." He said, "Knitzer, look, you don't have to explain anything to me. I call it the TISM. We call it, in my house, we all got a little TISM to us, and we're all on the spectrum somewhere. Some of us are super, super high functioning. Some of us got a little more TISM than others. And Chris, you got your own version." He didn't. It was just like, it was so reassuring to me. Like, all right, I didn't have to explain it to him, but how we develop that cultural competency is just that, having those kind of conversations and people finding out and being it not to take any unearned sympathy or whatever, but just like when people find out, hear your story and what you do struggle with, but that you're so hyper productive in other areas. That's my area, is crisis management, resiliency, how to sharpen up and get the most of what's left, what remains. Let's not focus on weaknesses. Let's focus on sharpening up and making the most of what's left, whether it's crisis, something you were born with, developmentally, genetically, or traumatically. We got to sharpen up and get in line what remains. And that's I see us having a lot of opportunities there, James, and I'll appreciate talking to you more in the future, and all of you as well. Steve, great job on the grant. We got $500 in sponsorship there through Salt River, so that was cool.
Yes, thank you for helping us.
Yeah,
on
that's
that,
great.
Chris.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And I just want to say,
start.
for any of you that need to jump off, you can, because I'm going to do something different with this recording, because this is lengthy, but it's good stuff. So I don't want to stop it. But Steve, did you want to say something? Did you want to come?
I know when Zachary, like, before I even started helping in 2020, we didn't know that we had autism or TISMs. I love that. Or as Cricket always says, super abilities. That's kind of our new word. And it kind of it made a with my mom, and kind of understanding her more. I wish autism was kind of more known back in the day a little bit, but she's still sensitive on the topic. But when being here with being realizing, because Zachary, we diagnosed him, and yes, he's high functioning, and we had to kind of explain with his school, but then they understood. They're like, oh, okay. When I gave him a few kind of he does this and this, and his developmental delay, but it's also being aware. He's 10 right now, and so the preteen age, we're aware and being, but he's big in YouTube. He's over there ignoring me with his headphones over there, but we have access to all his electronic stuff when it comes to watching it right now, but also just being aware of everything. And then with me, I might have some high functioning as well, being aware, but I just feel like for us being, I also have many other, I call it a full package of Steve with the basketball, because I have a lot of different things all in one, but I just call it like another, better to be aware of things and instead of like the unknown, and it's kind of a blessing that oh, okay, and then you can help others. I don't call it's not a like I love the super abilities. It's just another ism. Like when I see a doctor, I just call another ologist. So.
And you're right, Steve. Thank you so much for sharing that. I like the TISM too, Chris. So thanks for sharing that. That's cool. But I think it's just, I always refer to it as neurotypical and neurodiverse. And it's just, we're just all different. We're just unique. I've reminded my daughter since she was a baby, God created us all different. We're all unique and we're all special in our own way. So I know that Cricket had to jump off. But if anybody doesn't have anything else, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us. This is recorded, so we will make sure to get you guys a copy of this one way or another. And if you have anything else, let me know. But if you don't, we're going to go ahead and close out. And thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Night.